Williams Brothers Craft Lager.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Today I have got one from the Williams Brothers, famous Scottish brewery from Alloa, and they've come up with a craft lager. Now, I've been doing a bit of research on this, and no, I'll get onto that in a minute. Let's have a bit about the brewery. Not sure if you've been watching my reviews of certain Williams Brothers breweries. I used to really like them. I thought they were really good. Remember they did a Marshall tribute, Marshall amplifiers, they did a tribute to them, and I really liked what they did. And I decided to get a few more. Some were good, some not so good. Aldi seems to have a love affair with them, and they, get some of their stuff in every now and again. Some of it's okay, some of it's not so okay. Recently had one of the stouts they do, March of the Penguins. That was quite nice. No complaints there. Don't know whether you know the whole saga about the blood orange and the grapefruit IPA. Watch the reviews. I'm not going to go into all that again. Blood pressure's probably high at the moment anyway. I'm not going to go into that further. They did a lime flavoured one, elderflower and lime. Wasn't too bad. Other stuff they've done, the heather ale, didn't think much of that at all. So you get the picture. They can do good ones and they can do bad ones. This is their take on a craft lager. Now this is a dry hop lager, and they've touted it as being in the tradition of Czech and German lagers. So I'm assuming they mean that by that they mean a Pilsner. They haven't specifically said on here that it's a Pilsner. So I don't know, but let's stop guessing and let's investigate this a little bit further. Okay, so they've called it Williams Brothers Craft Lager, and there's some digits on the top there. They've got S189 #14. What that stands for is S189 is the strain of yeast that they're doing. I don't know what that is. That's probably a yeast that they've come up with, and this is the 14th variation on that recipe, so that's what that is. So they've tried this 13 times, and this is the 14th attempt. That is an improvement on everything. Okay, fair enough. Let's just read what's on the side of the can. Okay, so they've got take your time and do it properly, a maxim we at Williams Brothers take to heart. Okay. True to the this is what I was saying earlier. True to the tradition of classic Czech and German lagers, ours is cold fermented and takes over a month to brew. For a flavour well worth the wait, enjoying the difference. Yeah. So what they're explaining there is when they say it takes over a month to brew, what they do is they do the brewing, the boil, the mash, the boil, etc. This is dry hopped as well, so they'll be doing that. Once that's done, they will lager it for a month, and it's brewed at a lower temperature, so it's a bottom fermented lager, and then it's lagered. It's stored in a cool area for a month, and that gets rid of a lot of the impurities, namely diacetyl. You rarely, if ever, get diacetyl in lager because it has what's called diacetyl rests while it's lagering, and the diacetyl all gets filtered out and it just drops to the bottom. I think it drops to the top. That's all scooped off, so you don't end up with diacetyl. That's why lager is such a clean, refreshing drink. And that's what they've done there. That's what they're explaining there. This is 4%, which is a little on the lower side of a sort of a premium lager. It's a 440ml can. It says cold fermented for outstanding depth of flavour. So cold fermented is the same as bottom fermented. When you hear the term bottom fermented and top fermented means it's nothing to do with the height that it's fermented. Top fermented means it's at the higher end of the temperature scale, and bottom fermented or cold fermented means it's at the lower end. That's all that means. Lagers are typically bottom fermented or cold fermented, as I've called it here. I've not heard that phrase much, to be honest. Cold fermented. It's normally bottom fermented. What else is on the side of the can? Ingredients: water, malted barley, hops, and yeast. Beer in different languages. Just to reiterate on what I just said, this is dry hopped. They've used Cascade hops. Not sure why they've used Cascade. Cascade isn't really a... You know, they spoke about the tradition of using, or tradition of copying the German and Czech Pilsners, or Czech lagers, they've called it. Pilsners would be what I'm getting from that. They've used Cascade and they've dry hopped it. Cascade isn't, in my opinion, a traditional lager hop. I think the four noble hops are what you should really be considering as lager hops. Hallertauer, Saaz, and the two others which always escape me. But they're the two. Hallertauer and Saaz are the most common. The other two do get, but their flavours I think are a bit more subtle. Saaz is, you know, that's what makes Czech Pilsner taste like it does. Anyway, I'm going right off topic here. Let's get this open and see what's going on. Now, I don't know whether you saw my review of the Veltins Pilsner yesterday. Watch that and then come back and watch this, because that was a 10 out of 10. And I had a little, not a little rant, but just a little sort of, I suppose it was a rant about craft brewed lager. Hopefully this doesn't fall into that category, but we shall see. Okay, let's see what's on the nose out of the can. It does smell. It doesn't really smell of much, to be honest. If this was a blindfold test, I'd swear this was macro brewed. But I could be completely wrong on that. It has been known for me to make mistakes. Let's get it into the glass. Now, it was weird, as I say, I reviewed the Veltins yesterday, and as I was pouring it, I could see that it was good. And as I'm pouring this out, this has got the appearance of a half decent lager. But we shall see. The proof is in the tasting, as they say. There it is in the glass, golden colour, fair bit of carbonation on that, half finger head, virtually non-existent. Again, not a lot. Faint lemon citrus coming out of that. And a touch of bready malt, doughy malt, lager malt on there. Okay, let's get it down the hatch. Cheers. It's actually not bad. As I say, that's down as a craft lager. There's a bit more flavour than there is aroma. What I will say, there is a big back end on this of lovely bread type malt, toasty bread. Nice lemon citrus running all the way through it. No nasty flavours in that. So obviously the aroma was a bit deceiving for me. But it isn't bad. In fact, I'd say it's better than a a fair few others craft lagers that I've tasted. And it is, to an extent, it does remind me of a northern German Pils. I'm not getting much from the Cascade hops there that they're talking about. They say they use Cascade hop pellets for dry hopping. Not really getting much of that, to be honest. It just tastes like a good quality lager. I think it tastes more German than it does Czech. The Czech stuff has got more more spice, more earth, where they traditionally use Saaz hops. This sort of gives the impression that it's got Hallertau hops in it, so it tastes more German than Czech, in my opinion. But it's nice, I will say that. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing in there that's making me think, oh, there's a nasty taste, or there's a very average taste. It is an above average tasting lager. Does it measure up to the Felton stuff? No, I don't think it does. It hasn't got that lovely, nutty, sweet malt that you get from good Northern German lagers like Flensburger and Veltins, or even the super sweet Bavarian style malts. It hasn't got that. It's in the same sort of vein as Warsteiner, or Kronbacher. That's what I would sort of compare it to. But it's nice. I mean, they're not bad benchmarks to compare to. And yeah, it's okay. I've not really got any complaints about that. Flavoursome, crisp and refreshing. It's refreshing. It's not crisp, it's smooth. Flavoursome. Yeah, on its own merits, but compare this to a German. I should do that, really. I will do that one day. I'll get some more of that Feltin stuff, or even some Flensburger, and I'll just compare the two. And they're, bog standard. Someone called the Feltin stuff a fridge filler, and it is, to an extent, what many Germans consider a fridge filler. My mate loves it. It's his go-to default lager. And even this doesn't match up to it. And, that's had 14 variations on the recipe. So, yeah, this is my point about craft brewed lager. Just try and emulate the German stuff. I mean, they've said that that's what they're trying to do, and they've done it to an extent, but they've fallen short a little bit. But on its own strengths, if they're going in that direction, it's going to taste nice. This is a nice lager. Would I buy it again? Yeah. If Lidl were doing it cheap, I'd get it again, because it's quite nice. There's no nasties in there. Yeah, there's nice toasty malts, toasty bread, lemon citrus, nice big finish on the back end as well. Nice big malty finish on the back end. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. The reason I wouldn't give it more is because I think it falls short slightly of what it's trying to achieve. Don't get me wrong, it is a very good attempt at a German lager, but it just falls short of being up there with them, But it's okay. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. But just, the money you're paying for this, you could be buying some decent German stuff, which would probably be a little bit cheaper, and you'd get more. 500ml bottle, 440ml, £2.50. You can pick up a bottle of Feltins online, Beers of Europe. Not quite sure what this was. I imagine it's about the same sort of price, but yeah, it's okay. 7.5 out of 10. Recommended if there's no German stuff available. Yeah. And remember, beer is working class champagne.